Everybody, thanks for coming back to watch another video in the Barry Chronicles. And if you've been following the annotations on the videos over the past few weeks, you would know, I think, if I've done it right, that there's big stuff coming. And I'm kind of grateful for the opportunity to have a growing list of subscribers who've been following this and paying attention. And I say this with no degree of bluster, that if you've been surprised or shocked or kind of wowed by the story so far, I think that we've only just begun, because the next section that I'm sharing with you is certainly wow worthy, and I say that from the experience that I'm still currently living through. This is probably going to be a five-part series in itself within the broader story that I've been telling, and a question, really an ongoing question that I have along with those of my siblings is, who actually is our biological father? And that's obviously a hard question to answer in a lot of cases because of the things that we've talked about, the anonymity of sperm donors and the industry that exists to sort of protect those people. But it is certainly an effort that we have undergone, but it has not been a straight path. And so I'll start here with part one, called Uncovering the Identity of My Donor. It's been nearly 3 years to the day of learning that I am donor conceived and not my father's biological son. In that time, I've written extensively about most of my thoughts and experiences, and I've turned them into videos here. That includes the cast of characters involved in the story, with special attention paid to my dad and sister, as well as Morgan and Thomas, and as time went by, CJ, Amber, Megan, and Dallas too. There has been a glaring omission in that cast of characters, though. In the proverbial 800-pound gorilla in the room, and the greatest missing link, or unexplained corner, of the blog is this: the identity of my biological father. I have substantive reasons for why this question has collected dust on the shelf, and I'll explain and explore them more in time. For now, I hit the rewind button to a few days after my parents told me they'd used a sperm donor to start their family with me. Those days were like an emotional waterboarding. And while I may have a penchant for dramatic language in some of these videos, which you've seen, it's rarely a tool that I try to use without justification. I feel confident that any drama you've read or listened to in these pages has been obvious and carefully placed. So here it is. I struggled to use my mind and body that week in September 2017. It was like trying to stand up inside a wave, impossible and disorienting. I was stunned, broken, held together, broken again, and sobbing intermittently, going on bike rides with no headphones, listening to the wind, staring at the sun. And then I'd sob again. And the next day, I'd repeat the routine. Some semblance of a new normal began to form as the waves receded days later. Despite all the wounds I'd obtained, I was reminded that I'd survive it all. Yes, as that process played out, another unfolded. And the next most obvious question formed itself in front of me like a wall. No way around, no way through. Just an imposing edifice to be reckoned with and broken through in increments with a small pick. Who is my biological father? I learned enough about recessive genes in those post-discovery days to learn that my blue eyes were an inheritance from this man. But those genetic inheritances were never more prominent and in my face than on the day I met my brother Thomas. Seeing him was like seeing my most intimate personal qualities shown in the face, voice, and mannerisms of another person. A person at that time who was a total stranger. And a total dead ringer for me. Same bald head and shape, the same blue eye color, the same crow's feet around those eyes, and the same animations that come with them. I watched how his eyes move with surprise, interest, or shock, and how he gestured with his hands or inflected his voice. The way his posture found its home when he'd sit and when he'd stand. The exact same height as me, 5'8", although I wish it was much taller. All of it was like watching myself, and by extension, watching our biological father. He is a man I've never met and never seen, and yet I know him. How could I not? I am him, and in Thomas it was reinforced just how much. I'd spent next to no time at all dissecting the why of who I was before learning I was donor conceived. But now I know with a degree of certainty that all the things I see in Thomas reflected onto myself are certainly broader reflections of our donor, a mystery man, bald, blue-eyed with crow's feet, the ones that reveal every thought or reaction in transparent detail and presumably somewhere around 5'8" tall. But who is he? I'll start answering that in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to subscribe.